Ahoy hoy, it is Trevor again from Plateau Astro, and in this quick crash course video I want to show you this app that I find super useful and have been using it in my workshops and presentations for quite a few years now, and I just think it's a really great tool in the astronomy teaching tool belt. So it's called Solar Walk Lite. It's free for iPhone, iOS, Android, and basically it's like a miniature version of the solar system. I find it super useful to teach kids about the planets and how each of them are unique and the moons of each planet. And another cool thing is you can change the time. You can change the time going years in advance or years back in time, and that helps us show the motions of the planets, how long it takes the planets to go around the sun. And I even use it to teach the moon phases sometimes. So I'm gonna open it up here. Here it is, Solar Walk Lite. And I'll describe some of the features here. So when you first open it up, it's probably gonna look something like this. It's gonna be centered on Earth. And basically you can move your finger around and you can move around Earth here. You can also pinch to zoom in and out. And as you zoom out, you're gonna start to see some certain things here. So here you can see Earth and the moon and some planets and the sun, okay? First thing to note, by default, I think this is not set to be to scale, okay? And this is usually that's not a good thing. In this, it's actually kind of a good thing because that's what it's meant for, showing different features of the planets and teaching different concepts. So just a note on that. So here we're on Earth, but if you want to look at something different like the moon, you can just tap it and you can go and you can move around it. The other cool thing is you can get some more information about this. And I've found in my experience, kids really just like tapping on different things and learning more about them. So if I tap that little I button at the bottom there, it gives me some more info about the planet, okay? And along the top, there's some different icons for more information about it, some facts and figures about this. Sometimes this is useful if you need it. Images of it, and some of them actually show what it is like made up of. It's sort of showing the core and stuff like that. So I'll go to Saturn here. I'll do the same thing, and you can see the breakdown of what it's actually all made of, the internal structure of it, like that. So yeah, you can go and you can just tap around on different planets. You can move around them, and kids really like this, and I just find this kind of really interesting to let them have at her like this. The other cool thing is I can tap on the sun here, okay? And I'll just position myself so that I am directly over all of the planets. Now you usually kind of see this as sort of a flat diagram to show the order of the planets, all right? What I'm gonna show here is how we can change the time. Okay, so if the time isn't already there, you can just tap on any sort of blank space and the controls come up. So on the top right, you see 2024, 09, so September 9th, 4:38. You can tell what time I'm recording this, okay? And along the right-hand side, there's a little dial thing, and I can move that up and down, and that changes the time. Now it's moving it by the minutes right now, which isn't very useful on a solar system scale, okay? So I'm gonna tap on the day, okay? The time of day, or the date rather, okay? And I'm gonna move forward in time and watch what happens to the planets here, okay? So Mercury, because it's the closest to the sun, only takes about 90 days to go around the sun one time. Venus is a little bit further out. It takes about 8 months or something like that, okay? Earth takes a year, and Mars takes about 2 years and 2 months, something like that. The point being that as you get further away from the sun, the longer it takes you to go around the sun one time. So I find this a super useful way to demonstrate that to not just kids, but adults too. So we keep on zooming out, you see Jupiter, okay? It takes a long time, it takes about 13 years to go around. I think Saturn takes about 30 years, okay? So you can even change instead of clicking on the date, you can go by month. And this I find really, really useful, showing how long it takes some of the planets to go around the sun. If you want to get back to the time that it is right now, you hit those two little arrows that are sort of touching each other like that. It takes you right back. I find this also really useful for demonstrating the position of the planets in the sky as we see them here on Earth. So by coincidence, it's 2024, it's September 9th right now. And right now, it's sort of the best time in this year, 2024, to be able to see Saturn. And this app really helps to demonstrate that, okay? So Saturn is to the left, the sun is in the middle. I'm gonna zoom in and you can see the Earth right there. I'm gonna show what happens when I change the time, okay? You can see in the orbit around the sun, a few months ago, I'm gonna go back in time to say June this year, okay? You can see that back in June, we were a little bit further from Saturn in its orbit around the sun. I'll keep moving forwards in time. You can see we're getting closer and closer and closer and closer until we get to today in September, and this is the closest that we get to Saturn. Now, as we continue going around the sun, we're getting further and further away, and here on Earth, Saturn is going to appear less and less bright over time, until eventually it is like March, April next year, March, I guess, Earth will be behind the sun relative to Saturn. We won't be able to see Saturn in the night sky. And I find this to be a really great way to be able to illustrate this to people. Sort of gives them a different sort of mental model of how the solar system is actually working and why we can see some things during certain times and other things that we can't. So this is just super, super, super useful. The other thing I use this all the time for in my workshops is teaching about what we call the path of the ecliptic. We're not going to talk all about that, but basically it's like where you see the sun move in the sky, you're going to see the moon and the planets all kind of move on that same sort of line, invisible line in the sky. And this makes it appear like the planets are lined up in the sky. Why is that? Why is that? How come there's not a planet, this direction and that direction, that direction, that direction? Why are they all kind of appearing to be lined up? This app is really great at sort of demonstrating that. So I'm just going to move time forwards. Okay, we can see all the planets are going around the sun. Okay, Jupiter, Saturn, and all that. Okay, I'm going to take one finger and I'm just going to move it, and I'm going to move the position of the angle of the solar system, and you can see that the planets are all going around the sun on the same plane, the same sort of line like this. And from our view here on Earth, we get to see them and they're all kind of lined up in a line like that in the sky. It's not a coincidence. There's a reason for this. And if you want to take that even further, you can even continue zooming out until eventually some of the stars start to move, and you zoom out so far you get to see the Milky Way, and you can sort of get a sense of the shape of the Milky Way as well. So let's go back to the sun here. I will stop time. Okay. Now, there's a lot of other features I can go through with this app. It's free, it's great. I use it all the time in my workshops. Sometimes you have to show things to scale, and by default, it's not showing that here, but if you do need to do that, in the bottom right, there's a little hamburger icon. Touch that. Go to settings, and here you can turn on and off the music and the sound interface. By default, it has a setting called orrery. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Orrery, okay? And I guess basically that means it's not to scale. It's meant to show, the mechanics of the solar system. But if you do need it to scale, just turn that off, and in a moment, it goes to not to scale. And it shows an ad right there. It's free, so they have to make their money somehow, but I'll edit this part out. Okay, ad's done. Here we go. So here's the sun right here, and if I zoom out, you're gonna see it's gonna take a long time to be able to zoom out and start to see some of the planets. Solar system is very big, and so that is there if you do need it, but I find the default orrery setting very, very useful. So that is the app right there. Solar Walk Lite, free, Android, iOS, good on a tablet, good on a phone, but I just showed it on the iPad here. So hopefully that was useful, and thanks for watching. See you soon.